The night Mark Reynolds walked out of prison, the air in Cedar Falls wasn't just cold, it was heavy, as if the town itself was holding its breath. 15 years behind bars for a crime that ripped a family apart, for a sentence that had branded him forever. But freedom wasn't a fresh start. It was a countdown. Because somewhere in the shadows of this quiet town, old wounds were about to bleed, and a deadly secret was waiting to explode. Mark stepped through the iron gates of Cedar County Correctional Facility with slow, steady strides. The man who left 15 years ago was younger, reckless, and full of fire. The man who returned was different, hardened, silent, carrying a burden no one could see. His eyes, cold and searching, took in the empty road ahead. No welcome home, no second chance. He didn't expect one. Cedar Falls had moved on. The houses lining the street stood like empty shells of a happier time. But some things couldn't be left behind. Lisa Carter's house was one of those things. The small white-clapboard home she had once filled with laughter was now unfamiliar. Fresh paint, new curtains, and a car in the driveway that Mark didn't recognize. Lisa was remarried to Tom Ellis, a man who had woven himself into the fabric of the community and into the life she had rebuilt. Mark's release sent ripples through the town. Some feared the man who had been convicted of violence. Others whispered doubts about whether the full truth had ever been told. But the real story was buried beneath years of silence. That night, Mark's footsteps echoed down the cracked sidewalks as he passed Lisa's house. The porch light was off, the street quiet. Yet one upstairs window flickered open, revealing a shadow behind the curtains. Someone was watching. Mark's breath hitched. He wanted to turn away, to disappear into the dark. But the past clung tight, reminding him of every bitter memory, of the accusations, the loss, and the life that prison had stolen. He pressed his phone to his ear, but stopped himself. No calls, no distractions. He needed to see things clearly. He kept walking, past the park where he and Lisa once dreamed of a future together. The rustling leaves whispered secrets he wasn't ready to hear. Then his phone buzzed. A message flashed on the screen. "You don't belong here anymore." No name, no number, just a cold warning. Mark's heart pounded. He stared at the screen, a mix of anger and unease twisting inside him. Who sent it, and why now? He glanced back toward Lisa's house. The window was closed, the light extinguished, but the feeling of unseen eyes remained. Mark knew one thing. His return was not a simple second chance. It was a challenge, a test that would force him to confront the shadows lurking in Cedar Falls. Shadows darker than he ever imagined, because the past wasn't done with him yet. As Mark stood alone in the quiet street, the phone buzzed again, this time with a photo, a picture of Lisa and Tom, smiling, unaware that danger was closing in, and below it, a single chilling word, soon. What do you think is really going on in Cedar Falls? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like if you're hooked so far. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because this story is only just beginning. The morning sun barely pierced the thick fog that clung to Cedar Falls, but the town was already buzzing with grim news. Lisa Carter and her new husband, Tom Ellis, had been found dead inside their home, murdered in a way that stunned everyone who knew them. The quiet neighborhood was shattered, replaced by an undercurrent of fear and suspicion. Detective Ramirez stood behind the yellow crime scene tape, his eyes scanning the boarded-up windows of the house. Inside, broken glass littered the floor and dark stains marred the walls. It was a scene carved from a nightmare. This wasn't a random break-in, Ramirez muttered to his partner, Detective Myers. This was personal. Someone wanted them gone. The investigation quickly circled back to one name, Mark Reynolds. Fresh out of prison after 15 years, Mark was an easy target for suspicion. The town still remembered the headlines, the violent accusations, and the bitterness that marked his past with Lisa. But Ramirez wasn't satisfied with easy answers. Reviewing security footage from the neighborhood, they found Mark walking near Lisa's house multiple times over the last week. When questioned, Mark was tight-lipped, insisting he meant no harm. "I just wanted to see the town again," he said quietly. "I'm not a killer." Still, the forensic evidence complicated things. Mark's fingerprints were found on a broken picture frame inside Lisa's home, and a suspicious stain on his clothes raised alarm. Mark claimed innocence, but the mounting evidence made his story harder to believe. Neighbors gave conflicting accounts. Mrs. Caldwell, the elderly woman next door, swore she saw someone else lurking near Lisa's house just hours before murders. A tall figure in a hooded jacket, face obscured. But who was it? A breakthrough came when Lisa's phone records revealed a series of calls from an unknown number just hours before she was killed. The detective scrambled to trace the source, but the number was unregistered, impossible to identify quickly. Meanwhile, a different side of Tom Ellis began to emerge. Behind his polished public image were whispers of debts and dangerous connections. Detective Myers uncovered a closed investigation into a suspicious fire at one of Tom's properties, quietly hushed years earlier. "We need to dig deeper into Tom's past," Myers urged. "There are people who want him out of the way." But even as the detectives chased these leads, Mark's silence loomed. He refused to speak about the anonymous threats he'd been getting since his release. The chilling messages on his phone hinted at a conspiracy much bigger than personal revenge. Then, Ramirez received an anonymous tip. "Look where no one dares. The truth is hidden in shadows." Attached was a photo of a hidden safe inside Lisa's home, something no one had found before. Rushing back to the scene, Ramirez and Myers' pride opened the safe. Inside were documents revealing financial records linking Tom to illegal dealings, letters from Lisa expressing fear, and a list of names, people who owed Tom money or had reasons to want him dead. The case suddenly twisted into something more complex than anyone expected. Then came the testimony of a delivery driver who remembered seeing Mark and Lisa argue days before the murders. But more striking was the driver's claim of seeing a third person, someone tall and hooded, who seemed to watch them closely. Mark's world was crumbling. His attempts to rebuild life outside prison were met with threats, vandalism, and shadowed eyes. One night, a voicemail from Lisa's sister Sarah sent Mark racing. She claimed there was a secret Tom had kept, something dangerous, and begged Mark to meet her. But when Mark arrived, he found only an urgent note. "Trust no one. They're watching." The line between friend and enemy was blurring, and someone was orchestrating a deadly game in Cedar Falls. As the detectives closed in on a suspect, a new murder rocked Cedar Falls. This time, a chilling message was carved into the victim's wall. "The past never dies." What's your theory on who's behind these murders? Who do you think is pulling the strings? Let us know in the comments below. If you're hooked on this story, hit like and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch the shocking conclusion. Cedar Falls held its breath as the investigation spiraled deeper into a web of lies, betrayal, and unexpected revelations. Detective Ramirez paced the precinct's dimly lit briefing room, the weight of the case pressing down harder than ever. Mark Reynolds sat across the table, eyes tired but unbroken, as the detectives laid out the latest evidence. "You're telling me," Ramirez said slowly, "that someone else is behind all this? Someone framing you?" Mark nodded, his voice low but steady. "I told you I wasn't at Lisa's that night, but I didn't have anyone else to blame. Until now." The breakthrough came when the detectives traced the mysterious calls on Lisa's phone to a burner cell hidden inside Tom's office. Inside the office, they uncovered a trove of incriminating emails and financial records revealing Tom's double life. One filled with shady partners, unpaid debts, and dangerous enemies. But the final piece was a series of threatening letters Lisa had hidden away, addressed to a man who was not Mark, but someone close to Tom, someone desperate to keep a secret buried. The detectives turned their attention to Lisa's sister, Sarah, the woman who had warned Mark. During a tense confrontation, Sarah broke down and confessed the truth. Tom had been involved in illegal activities, money laundering, threats, and even intimidation to silence those who opposed him. Lisa had found out and wanted out, but Tom's associates were ruthless. The night of the murders, Sarah revealed a hired hitman had come to silence Lisa and Tom both. Someone who had carefully planned to make it look like Mark was the culprit. Mark's 15 years behind bars had made him the perfect scapegoat. But the story took another dark twist. The hitman was none other than one of Tom's closest confidants, a man known in town as trustworthy and respectable. Armed with this revelation, Ramirez and Myers orchestrated a sting operation. They caught the killer attempting to flee town. His arrogance shattered when faced with the law. Mark was finally cleared, but the scars remained. Years lost, a reputation destroyed, and a heavy cost a town quick to judge. Standing outside the courthouse after the trial, Mark looked toward Lisa's now empty house. The sun was setting, casting long shadows, reminders of the past he could never fully escape. But for the first time in 15 years, there was a glimmer of hope. Justice had been served, not just for Lisa and Tom, but for a man who had fought silently to reclaim his name. Sometimes the truth hides in shadows, tangled in secrets and lies. But no matter how deep the darkness, the light of justice can still break through. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, please like and share your thoughts in the comments. What did you think about the twists? Who surprised you the most? Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping true crime stories. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.